Hey everyone, it's Bruce from the Joinery Coach. Another installment of our What's Your Problem segment. I had such a massive response last week from people sending me in problems that they have in their business and asking for a potential solution to it that this segment is something I'll do every single Friday from now on. I had over 20 people send me messages saying, look, I've got this particular problem. What would you recommend I do to solve it? And so I've looked through a lot of the questions that I've had, and I can only pick one each Friday. But I had a message from a gentleman by the name of Jim in Sydney, New South Wales, and his question was, I've been running a business for about 4 years, cabinet shop joinery business, and we've been really struggling to make a go of it. Having troubles paying my bills, having troubles paying for wages for the people in the factory. And he said to me, I know that my price is the cheapest of all the ones on the market, but I'm still not getting the customers that I want. I'm still not getting the wins that I want, and having trouble paying the bills. So his question was, how can I make this business work? What's the secret? Well, Jim, there's actually a really simple answer to this. It's not a simple solution to implement, but it's a simple answer. And the answer is we've got to have a mindset shift. And when we're talking about being the cheapest, that leads to all kinds of problems. So I thought what I'd do is I'd do a quick demonstration for you by sharing my iPad screen with you. And we'll go through a little bit of an exercise. Hopefully it'll be of great value to you. Please let me know. Send me a personal message or post on Facebook and let me know what you think. Okay, so we've got 4 words that we can put in sequence as to how we approach each job. And when I ask people, just take a few seconds to put these in sequence of how you think you'd want to approach your work and your business. And it's very interesting. Traditional habits have us go quite often in the wrong order. But just take a couple of seconds here and look over those 4 words and put them in the right sequence. I'll fast track this a little bit for you. The typical sequence, which gets most businesses into trouble, and especially in this case, is when we approach what we're going to do. Our first approach is we want to do it cheaper than anybody else, and we want to do it faster than anybody else. We also want to do it better quality, and then of course we think that after we do all of that, it's going to be easier. Now the problem with this approach, which is a very traditional approach to business, is that when you do things cheaper, you just don't have any money, and you're probably not doing the right, you're not working with the right customers anyway. So you run out of money right from the very beginning. And because of that, you just can't do it faster. But because we're trying to do things faster, what happens in almost every case is our quality suffers. We end up making a lot of mistakes and errors. And so we definitely don't do better work when we're trying to do it cheaper and faster. And then what happens is it doesn't get any easier at all. In actual fact, it makes it much more difficult to get the work done. So that's the typical approach. And a lot of people that I talk to that have a traditional business approach it this way. I'm going to be the best price. I'm going to be faster than anybody else. Our quality is going to be as high as possible, and it's going to be so easy. And it just never works out that way. So here's my suggestion. Let's flip it. Let's do it the exact opposite way. Let's find a way to make it easy to do your work. And that means going to your team and saying, what's the easiest way for us to do these things? How can we improve our process? What's the best way to improve our process so that we can make it better? So that means going to a guy on an assembly bench or your guy in the panel saw, your CNC, and asking them, what's a better way of doing this? And looking at your process, making it better and easier. We might also want to look at ways of speeding things up, but my suggestion is not doing things faster internally, finding ways to reduce the distance between your processes. So ultimately, the overall process or the overall job completion will be faster. But when we're talking about people, we want to make sure that it's easier for them. So, for example, if you have an assembly bench that's a long way away from where your truck is going to load, let's move those together. Let's not say, well, you have to walk faster between the assembly bench and the truck, because that's just asking people to work faster, and that doesn't usually go over very well. But if we say, look, we're going to move the assembly bench closer to the truck so you don't have to walk as far, that goes really well. And at the end of the day, At the end of the day, we want to talk about doing things cheaper, but that doesn't mean reducing your price. That means reducing your costs in business, and I would actually recommend putting your price up in almost every case, because if people are buying because of price, they're probably the wrong customers in the first place. So that's a little bit of a suggestion, is how you can change your mindset a little bit. Make things easy first, approach ways to make it better within your process, find ways to improve your process and make the overall job faster, so maybe you can do 1 or 2 jobs more per month. And ultimately, we want to drive your costs in business down, but your asking price could maybe go up a little bit. So Jim, I hopefully that's been a little bit of a helpful insight for you as to how you can just kind of shift your mind a little bit into approaching your work slightly differently. If you're trying to be the cheapest and you're not winning the work anyway, then surely something has to change. So just have a think through that sequence of approaching your work, change your approach a little bit, and let me know in a couple of months. Who knows? Maybe everything's turned around. So this is Bruce from the Joinery Coach with your What's Your Problem tip for Friday. If you have a comment or want to just contact me, please feel free to give me a personal message, email, respond to this video if you'd like. Place it in the comments below. Love to hear from you. Bruce from the Joinery Coach. Have a great day.